Okay, well, let's begin then. Hi, my name is Krešimir. I'm a product manager at Caelor. I have around 4 years of experience in the Atlassian ecosystem. I started off as a QA, so testing the DC apps and cloud apps, and cloud is becoming a thing. And yeah, slowly but steadily, I've moved my way to a product manager position. I'm responsible for our Jira apps. Maybe some of you have already heard about Custom Field Suite or Link-C. You probably heard about Cosmos Macro Suite, Content Wiz as well, but I'm not responsible for those, only for Jira apps. So our main focus was on Confluence, but now we've started growing our Jira app portfolio. So here we are with Shoppie. I'm joined with my brother. He's going to be a moderator for me today. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. I'm going to hold a presentation. I don't know how long it will take, around 30 minutes probably, and then we can do a Q&A at the end. So without further ado, let's start. So this is Shoppie. It's the Assets integrated shop for JSM. So with Shoppie, we wanted to tackle a couple of problems. We felt the need of creating an app that's going to serve as a go-to solution for all procurement-related stuff in the Atlassian world. If you compare it to like ServiceNow or some other solutions that are out there, Atlassian lacks this part of the whole package. So we basically want to eliminate the need for companies to use third-party solutions, programs, apps, or manual work. We also want to show all of the available items in the portal without using custom fields or without having your colleagues, workers, or customers go to a specific person and so on. And also for the whole process to be as transparent as possible. So from seeing the available items to requesting the item, communicating with the agent, and so on. So we wanted to make it as transparent. So about Shoppie in short, so Shoppie is made for JSM Premium. It's made for instances that benefit from assets. So we are targeting large customers, large companies that probably already have like a procurement solution, but then they can switch to Shoppie in the future. So by leveraging assets, we eliminate the need, as I said, for manual data input and offer users to use existing data. Shoppie is also built in Forge, since Forge is going to become the future of Atlassian, and we believe all apps one day will move to Forge, so we wanted to make the app future-proof, and it's also hosted by Atlassian, and they also handle the security for it, so that's amazing for us and for our customers as well. Shoppie, as I said, is assets integrated fully, so everything that you will see in the portal is taken from assets, not one thing is custom-made, so all data is from assets. It's built to give you a shop experience in Jira Service Management, and it is accessible for all users, internal use, customers, anonymous users, JSM customers, so everyone can use Shoppie basically. So let's see how Shoppie looks like in the portal, in the JSM portal. So key points: every shop should have a clear overview of available items. Of course, you need categories, search bar filtering, detailed view of the products with the information, and of course to add all of the items to cart and see one last time if everything is right. So this is a assets custom field, just to give you a comparison of what Shoppie brings to the table. So until now, this is what you would see if you were using a assets custom field to choose items in the portal. And this is Shoppie basically. So we've managed to add all of the pictures, the descriptions, price, the filtering to different views for the items, the categories, everything in this limited space that's offered by the Forge module. So of course you have your categories on the left side, you have your search bar, your cart view, your items, because we wanted to make the app really pretty basically. So this is the details view. In the details view, once again, everything you see is taken from assets. You can also use the arrows on the top to switch between different products, so you can easily compare them. The CPU, RAM, manufacturer, and stock, these are all asset attributes that we've taken. And also, as you can see, it says that this laptop is out of stock. So with Shoppie, you can also handle inventory management. So you can keep track of how many items are available. And once they're not available, the users will see this message. Next up is the cart. So of course, when you're done with everything, you go to checkout, and you want to see the overview of added items. If everything is correct, then you can add additional items or remove certain items if you no longer wish to have them. So this is an example of, let's say, an onboarding process. Someone joins the company, they can see the list of available items from headphones, phones, laptops, and so on. And then the new worker can easily open up Shoppie, open up the portal, and without having to talk with a specific person, go back and forth, the worker will simply open up the shop, choose the item if it's available, and continue the conversation with the agent and so on. So now let's see what the agent sees once the request has been created. So by default, an internal comment is going to be placed, letting the agent know that the request has been raised to Shoppie and showing the agent the list of items added. By clicking on the order button that's located underneath the summary, a Shoppie panel will open with the list of items and their details, like so. And if you remember when I said about, when I talked about custom fields, so each category in the shop can be linked to a custom field. Therefore, when someone chooses a certain laptop, it's going to be added to the assets custom field. So you can then use this custom field to manipulate the data in automation rules, workflow validations, and so on. So let's talk about setting up Shoppie. As you can probably imagine, creating an app that acts like a shop in Jira Service Management that's also connected with assets was no walk in the park. Believe me, it was quite troublesome, but we really wanted to make this experience as simple as possible. So to start off, the key part is connecting with assets. So connecting the app with assets, because you simply need the app to communicate with the assets somehow, and you also need to enable all of the customers, the anonymous users, and so on to see the assets in the portal. So to do so, we are using the Atlassian's API token authentication. So you simply use a admin, enter his email, hers email, enter the API token, and you're good to go. This information is stored in secret storage, so you don't have to worry about any security concerns. So Shoppie is split into catalogs, as I mentioned earlier. So you saw the onboarding catalog previously, which basically allows you to create an unlimited amount of catalogs for different use cases based on your needs. Each catalog needs to be assigned to a certain project and a request type. Multiple catalogs can be in the same project, but they need to be on different request types. And the catalog in the shop is opened as soon as the user clicks on the request type, the shop is going to open. So importing assets, the most important part of the app, because without assets, you simply have no items in the shop. So as I said, there were many challenges. We tried to make this as simple as possible. So with just a few clicks, you can import your desired assets. So you choose the object schema, you choose the desired object types, simply click on the checkboxes, which ones you wish to have, and then you click import. And once they're imported, you're going to have an overview, or should I say a preview of the added items. But to fully configure Shoppie, to get that full experience, each category needs to be configured. So here are some information about connection with assets, category details. In here, you will also define default attributes for price. If you want to use the price, it's not mandatory. For the name, your inventory management attributes, so in stock, connecting the category to a custom field, and so on. And to really give you the full experience of the app, it is also highly recommended to configure the details view. Once again, this is all information from assets attributes. So once you choose a placeholder, you're just going to choose an attribute. The label is automatically going to be the same. And you can also change the add to cart button to basically be whatever you want it to be. As we're going to go through a use case now, where, let's say, if you have a broken laptop or some sorts. So I don't know, I'm using my laptop now, something went off, the battery died, or my phone died, or whatever. So you can set up a category. You can set up a catalog that will be used only for raising requests that are connected with hardware issues. So instead of going to a specific person or like messaging someone, hey, my laptop is dead or my phone died, you can simply open up Shoppie, and in here you will see the list of items that you own. This is possible because in the configuration you can enter the AQL filter to show only items that you are the owner of. So as you can see in here, you have the AQL filter, the owner equals current user, which means that Shoppie will only show items that I own. Of course, since this is a catalog for hardware issues, your attributes will be different, like the model, the serial number, purchase date, warranty expiry date, and so on. So in a few clicks, you can let your IT support team know that you have some issues, and they will know exactly which model is it and which item is it and what the issue is. And another use case is, so the app was released not even 2 months ago, and our focus at the moment is supporting use cases from customers. So one use case was reporting hardware issues or service issues through the portal through Shoppie. And another use case we recently released is lending a company vehicle. So let's say this event wasn't virtual and I wanted to go to the event. Then what I can do, I can go to Shoppie. I can see the available cars that we have at the company. I can choose the one that suits me best and for the amount of people that are coming with me. And using the in-stock feature, I can also see which cars are available and which ones are not, because someone may have already booked them. So I'll quickly open the shop. I'll check the cars, which I like. I can see I have the AC, all of the details, how much it's going to cost me per day, and then I simply add them to cart, and that's it. So yeah, our current focus is doing use cases, but by the end of the year, we plan to release a whole procurement solution and hopefully bring more customers and more users to Atlassian, since procurement solution is lacking right now, and we've noticed that and took the opportunity to create a new app and go to a new direction with it. So yeah, we're trying to make Atlassian competitive with ServiceNow, for an example. We are working closely with Atlassian as well, communicating with them and the Forge team. So yeah, this app is not only benefiting the customers, but also everyone, basically. Forge is improving, Atlassian is improving, we are improving, and yeah. Yeah, and one more thing, once you choose a car or whatever item, the stock attribute in assets automatically gets lowered by the amount of items added. So there is no need for manually changing the attribute. It's all done by the app. Yeah, that's it. I know we have a lot more time than this, but hopefully there are some questions that we can answer now. And yeah.
So there are no questions in the QA feature. But maybe to kick things off, actually we do have one just opened. Let me just read it.
Yeah, Marin said if someone is interested in joining us to cover more use cases, we are interested and want to hear from you how you use assets, how you would see a fit for Shoppie in your company. If you have any suggestions, feedback, please let us know. The app is still fresh. We are working on it every day.
While we wait for the Q&A questions to rack up, maybe we can discuss the in-stock feature and how simple it is and how actually tough it was to implement despite looking pretty simple. It just proves how useful features like this can be, because updating things and assets in assets is it can be complicated and overwhelming, and it's also something that we wanted to interface with and simplify so that it's easier for the users of the customer portal, but also the agents and Jira admins. Can we talk about that a bit?
Actually, I have a question from Mahohar. Sorry if I pronounced that wrongly. He asked how are assets loaded. I'm not sure if you're talking about like the technical details of it, or so regarding the catalog itself, they're loaded with the click of a few buttons. So as soon as you select the object schema and the object types, they are imported into the app, and you can see right away which assets are in the certain category, and then you can configure it further. Do we use Insight Discovery feature? I believe we do not know.
Maybe I can answer some of part of that. I'm not sure with the discovery feature. I assume it has to do with the import features of assets. We're not using that. We do have experience with it, but we don't use it. We use the REST API, and that's what the Atlassian API token is used for. There are limited uh, ways to interface with Atlassian currently, and the API token is currently the only way. So the short answer would be the REST API, but it's pretty easy to use. The platform forge is more problematic than anything that Atlassian has in the REST API in assets.
So we have another question. Yes, it is a Forge app, built-in Forge from ground up. As I mentioned previously, it's also stated on the marketplace listing. So it is a Forge app. Yes. We have another question. Would this have a way for requests or purchases to go through an approval process? So at the moment, by default with the app, the answer is no. You can use automation rules for now, which would sort of have an approval process defined by you, how you would like to do it. But as I said, we are working on a full procurement solution since we just released the app recently and are covering some use cases. But the plan is to have the whole approval process with the procurement solution, so you will be able to approve purchases, items, decline them, import them back to assets automatically, see a list of all orders made from specific departments, define a budget for certain user groups, and see statistics, reports, everything. We have another question. What is your plan in regards of automation? Can we set automation rules? If we have onboarding process and I buy a laptop, can I use automation to assign this laptop to me in Jira Assets? Yes, you can. So since the category is mapped to a custom field, you can then use the selected object in that custom field, and using automation rules, you can import it back to a specific schema and object type with a name. So this automation rule can also work from workflow transitions. So yeah, you can basically, once the order is approved, you can, and the order is done, you can import those items back to assets under the user's name. We have another question from Leonardo. Would it work alongside Oracle Cloud, for example, considering a purchase is actually made and the company already has an ERP solution that would need to be integrated? That's something that's definitely in our backlog to evaluate. At the moment, on our short-term roadmap, no, it cannot work with Oracle Cloud, for an example, but we are evaluating these ideas and will for sure add support for something like this in the future once the whole procurement solution is done. So yeah, thank you for the question.
I see the question, is it a forge app repeated 3 times? I'm not sure if this is a accidental repeat, but yes, for Shoppie is a forge app, written completely in Forge, and yeah, we tried Forge, we liked it, and decided we can build a couple of projects in Forge. And yeah, there were some problems along the way, but we managed to overcome them, and we like how it's working right now. And you know, maybe there are some more problems in the future, but the Atlassian team is working really hard on Forge, and yeah, we are very glad to be on the forefront of innovation in the Atlassian ecosystem.
We have any other questions? I have a question from a customer now. He plans to use it as a co-working space. Users will be able to book a meeting room. Can it be connected with time? For example, I want to have a meeting room from 5 to 6 p.m. Is it possible? At the moment, no. So as the in-stock feature basically works once you order something, you add it to the cart. Once the request is published, the attribute will update and certain items will be in stock or out of stock. But we were talking just the other day about adding a time frame, so to display available items or meeting rooms or whatever based on a selected date and time format. So that is definitely something that we have on our roadmap, and we are thinking about it. I spoke with Tomislav just the other day about it. About a similar use case where you would enter a date and the time to book a certain meeting room or a classroom or anything else. That's a very good question. Thank you. Can we connect Stripe and payment gateways? At the moment, no, but in theory, it can be easily done, and this is something we are definitely evaluating. We just need to see that the whole process is secure and that Atlassian is cool with it. So, but yes, definitely possible to do such a thing. What is your experience with Forge app development compared to Connect app development? This is a question for Tomislav.
Yes, I haven't done much Connect development actually. The first app I ever built for Atlassian was in Connect, and since then it's been server data center, and in the last year or so it's been Forge. But the two platforms are kind of similar, except for Connect you need to host the app yourself, and the storage in Forge is handled by Atlassian. Even the secret storage, it's also handled by Atlassian, data residency and stuff like that. We don't have to worry about that. I mean, we do worry about that, but I think the legalities of it are, part of Atlassian's scope, not ours. So it's pretty cool. The developer experience is great, but since the platform is kind of new, it is hard to sometimes get the answers and the solutions really fast from Atlassian. But if you just take a look at the changelog for Forge, you can see that they are pushing updates daily, which is great to see. But truth be told, it's not always the updates I want to see. But yeah, it's been pretty great. And Connect is not, going to get deprecated. So yeah, I think both platforms are great. It just depends on, I would say, the team capabilities and so on. And with that, I need to mention that we have several apps written in Connect and several in Forge. So we are not biased, but we just wanted to see this and see how it works and see this through to the end. So yeah, better to know two things than one, right? So yeah, that would be the experience. And also the support from Atlassian is great in both cases, whether we are developing for Connect or for Forge.
Another question from Darshani. Do we need to have a predefined fixed structure, object scheme structure? Okay, for it to work with Shoppie. No, so Shoppie is really flexible. Importing assets is also really flexible. So regardless of how you use assets, how your structure looks like, you can import anything basically. And you can also create categories straight in the app, so you do not even need to have the same layout as you have in assets. So you can add new categories, child categories, add object type manually, and so on. So assets are mainly here to just use the existing data and not have customers install the app and then first go through like a week-long process of adding all of their items for the app to work. So you just click a few buttons and that's it. You can start using the app. Thank you for the question. Is the app only there for cloud, or are you planning to do this for DC too? At the moment, it's for cloud only. We are expanding the use cases and the whole app on cloud, and then we can think about creating an app for data center. We already got a couple of requests for this, so this is something that's definitely on our minds, but at the moment our focus is to expand the app on cloud first. We have another question. Do you think this app can compete with ServiceNow? As I know, procurement was one of the reasons why ServiceNow customers can switch to JSM. It can, and definitely will be able to compete even better in the near future. So as we release new updates and are currently working on the procurement part of the app, so we have the full solution really soon. Yes, it will definitely be possible to compete with ServiceNow. So once we release the procurement part, you will be able to add your vendors, send orders, receipts, everything through Jira and through JSM and using assets as much as possible.
I'm not sure what capture assets means. Currently, we just use the data. We use assets as a data source, but we do actually store some data. So we have the object types used as categories, and these categories we are actually copying the names and the icons and storing it in our own database. The reason is it's a bit more flexible to do so. Otherwise, you would need to delete the category and just change the object type. This way, you can just change the object type and keep the category. Also, you can use the category as you can use one category to display multiple object types. Actually, I'm not sure if that is working currently. It should be one category equals one object type, but there is an IQL field, and if I'm not mistaken, I think you can use the IQL field to filter for multiple object types. But that would be the idea, to keep one part of the app, customizable. It's a compromise. We wanted to use it, completely with the data from assets, and we just saw that it's not going to work. So we do maintain one part of the app in our own database. I mean, we have to, but at the end of the day, the source of truth is always going to be in assets. I hope that answers the question. If not, then we can try again.
We have another question. Will there be any option to add multiple data sources apart from assets? Possibly, yeah. So once we release the procurement part, we are already thinking about adding like Azure AD integrations or creating your own shop, your own data, and so on. So the plan is to first make it work with assets perfectly. I mean, it already is working really well. But once that's complete, we're going to start expanding for such use cases. Thank you for the question. Yeah, we were just also in talks with Karen McKenzie, I believe her name is from Atlassian. So we are currently working with Atlassian. We are writing a blog about the app. It sparked a lot of attention with them. They're really interested and they're really pushing us forward with the app. So yeah, we are working on that blog. We're having calls with Atlassian and the Forge team. So it's really great to see their support in this project because, as they said, they've never seen such an app in their marketplace. So that's also great and gives us a lot of motivation to keep working on the app.
Maybe we can ask a question for the viewers. How many of you use assets? And yeah, and do you use assets? Basically, that's the question. Or do you use something else?
Yeah, I've actually created a poll. Should be able to see it. So let's see. Do you use assets? Okay, while that poll is running, we do have a question. Can you talk through how do we control the visibility of assets in your app? So if I understood the question correctly, so by default, you can restrict projects and request types, of course, for certain users, if that's the visibility you're talking about. But if you're talking about the visibility of assets themselves, once the assets are imported, the avatar from the assets is taken as a picture, and then you can configure the asset, the whole category further by configuring the details view with the asset attributes and so on. If that's what you meant. All right. It seems like there are no more questions, or did I miss something? Yeah. So if there are no more other questions, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. I hope you like the presentation. I hope you like the app. I hope you're gonna try it out. I'm gonna leave a link of our portal demo where you can actually try the app right now. This is a JSM portal that's used for demo purposes, so it's open to everyone. You can just click the link. It's gonna take you to our instance, and you can just check out the app then. So yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you liked it. Thank you for the questions and for the feedback. Hope you had a great time, and yeah, I hope you're excited as we are to see what's next for Shoppie and for Caelor in general.